My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slice and Dice. Ignore the fact that it says continue level 1 hard there. That was a mistake as I accidentally launched the 2.0.0 rather than 2.0.2 beta. Okay. Add an imp. To every single fight, we could also have the monsters charged, add charge to all sides. Their bonus is equal to our current mana. Woof. There's also armor at the start of each turn, shield 2 for all enemies, as well as every third turn, summon an alpha. Oh boy! That's tough. Monsters charged, add imp. Imp might be the easiest one. It'll give me a good reason to start putting some range into this build as quickly as possible. Got a Scoundrel, Brigand, Squire, Healer, and Mage, so we have some decent mana generation. Helping us play the Flare there. Squire, you can redirect the damage from the Scoundrel to yourself. Everyone kind of wants to push on those ones as well. There we go. So I can deal 3 damage to this wolf by having the focus strike on it and then an area of effect. Actually, hang on. Right, this is going to cause me to die to the thorns on the bottom line if I actually affect it with the area as well. So there goes the wolf. Now we just have the imp and the thorn. Unfortunately, the thorn is refractive, immune to spells. Otherwise, it'd be, you know, trivial to deal with. I really hope I get a ranged upgrade, like, really immediately, basically. Immediately would be just fast enough for me. I mean, these people do want to kind of keep their damage, I guess, except for the Squire. We can keep the health on the healer instead. Try and give the Scoundrel the ability to possibly even send this attack out against the enemies. Squire can follow up from that for a kill on the imp. So here's what I'm thinking. If we mend the Scoundrel and then heal them, they take 6 damage. Yeah, they'll take 6 damage if they attack the thorns like that. Oops. That's not going to help. So I can have the Brigand attack the imp as well as the imp finish them off. And then I need to figure out how I'm going to deal with the thorn. If I attack the thorn, I die to them. I mean, run away? You know what? That's good enough. I forgot you were even capable of doing that. Sinew has 1 damage chain and cleave. 4 damage exert sides. That's the ability to take out an imp instantaneously. We also have Caldera here, who's a little more useful now instead of just having 1 mana on these 2 sides. Also has 1 damage mana gain. Scold for doing some AoE, the ability to hit the people in the back line. I mean, a little bit contributes towards our ability to take out imps and stuff like that. Removes our ability to flare a target, though. I think with the fact that we have AoE both on, or rather just on the Scoundrel at the moment? Yeah, just on the Scoundrel. I was really hoping that was going to be the point that justified taking the Scald. So we also have 1 cleave, so that can help set up a chain. I think I'm going to take Caldera. Yeah. I feel pretty comfortable with this. I would have really preferred, I think, Evoker, not Invoker. I would have preferred the ability to just use drop to deal 4 to the top space, because that's the ability to take out the imp without taking any response damage from them. Brigands. I mean, I'm currently set up to be able to take out a goblin, then that can take out a rat. Then I only have to take out 1 imp. Do I settle for 1 mana and 1 shield there? No, and that was the correct choice. Okay. There goes the Brigand on the top line. There goes the rat. Squire, you can defend yourself. And then, honestly, just generate 2 mana next turn. 2 bursts against the imp is freedom here for us. That's not 2 mana. That is, though. Goodbye, Imp. Hello to the Rusty Blade as well as Infused Herbs. Infused Herbs replace the bottom side with Heal 2, Regen, Cleanse. Also mana cost. So it'll heal 2, apply Regen, so that target will heal 2 at the end of each turn. It cleanses, so reduces negative impacts by 2, and, although instead, because this is its cost, mana cost makes it cost 2 mana in order to cast. I really like that. Yeah, it'd be totally fine bottom side for the healer to hold. Although the healer is often the person who generates the mana, so I guess it's just not for the first turn of the round. With an imp, a crone, and a boar, targeting a bunch of my folk here. How dare they? An AoE attack kind of seems neat if we hit the exert side, because then we can deal 2 instances of 3 damage to the boar, and then the AoE attack does 1 damage to everyone as well as kills the boar. I like that. I'm not going to exclusively rely on it, though. But if it comes out, I'm not going to be sad. All right. There goes the boar. We do have the ability to keep the squire around by defending them and bursting in order to keep them on the field. Is there a significantly better way to do that? Not that I can think of immediately, and the rest of the fight shouldn't be too difficult. Especially because the crone is going to be using her heavy attack against Caldera on the bottom line rather than the scoundrel on the top, who would have a little more difficulty with it. Healer, I will just have you take those 3, that's fine. Or rather, take those 3 points of healing to give to someone else, that is fine. Not the best turn I've ever had, but building up a little bit of resources. We've got 2 mana to take into the next. One more damage is enough to kill the imp. That'll do it. So, 1 damage to the imp, and then we are going to run Scald, and Brigand murders the crone on the top line. Spellblade and Berserker. We have had Berserker recently. I really like Spellblade. Spellblade is another way to gain mana off class. So we've got the healer with good mana gain, we've got the Caldera with good mana gain, we've got Spellblade, which could have good mana gain as well. Gives us access to another spell in Imbue, +1 to the target's damage size for this turn, single cast. Gives us some ability to deal with bosses by setting up poison. The only really big problem here is that the Spellblade, or rather the rogue upgrade, is commonly the character who will take ranged, and we're not gonna have access to ranged if we take Spellblade here. I think we still do it. I'm still pretty cool with all of these items. A troll and an imp. 1 damage as well as 1 mana gain is fine for me. Squire, you could defend the healer as well as concentrate damage on yourself, which is quite nice. We'll push on everyone else. Okay. Brigand gets the exert side. It would be pretty important to be able to instantly remove someone from the field here. I see. So, Brigand and Caldera take out the imp. I'm capable of using a little bit of this healing out from the healer. And then Spellblade does 2 damage to the troll. I could do 4 damage if I wanted to imbue that. No, I'm probably better served by imbuing poison, if I can roll into it. 2 damage to everyone on the board. Alright. You're looking for kills then. I mean, I do feel like I just take the 2 instances of 1 damage, 1 mana. Squire, if you could defend yourself, that'd be great. Oh. I mean, that's defense. Good enough for me. Obviously, Brigand is currently still a real contributor to damage for us. Squire, I see. Brigand not being attacked probably doesn't care about using the self-shielding side. Caldera, I mean, Spellblade? You're the one taking the mana gain side here? I mean, I guess. More ability to cast things like Burst. Sure, yeah, I guess that's how I'm keeping people alive here. 1 mana gain, 1 mana gain, another damage to him. And then I can mend Caldera, and then both of them each are on 2 HP. So, Squire defends Caldera, Burst defends the healer, and then Heck, I might also Burst defend the Squire, so we only have 1 incoming damage from a couple different targets this turn. Ugh. Very slow going here. Getting him below half HP would then basically push us towards the kill. So if we continue rolling on Caldera for the cruel side, I think we could get some stuff done. I think I should probably start settling for results here rather than continuing to push and possibly losing. So the Squire can take 3 damage away from someone else, or 1 damage away from someone else because they also self-shield themselves for 2. No, I think I push again. Good heal, healer. We'll also have the Squire attempt to keep the healer alive. And then a single burst is enough to keep the Squire alive in response as well. We keep 3 mana going to the next turn. I think, like, Cruel is really the big way out of this for us. The enemy's still regenerating 1 per turn. How dare they? I could also set up Poison with Imbue, which is probably a good idea to do right now. Healer does have the ability to heal someone by 2. In fact, both of these actions together, the healer healing the Squire by 2 and then giving them 2 regen, and then the Squire defending themselves with the focused shield, means the Squire is going to have full HP at the end of the round, as well as 2 regen. So if I can also confirm that my other characters on board will live, then I can get some really good stuff done here. Okay. So I think what we're looking for is Imbue on the Poison. Start getting us some inevitability in this fight. Healer heals the Squire. Squire defend thyself. Right. I have to let people die in order to do it that way. I was not thinking about that. So if I want to have access to 4 mana at any one time, I can do it in this way, but then I lose 2 of the mana casting the mana cast. So I can heal you slightly with the mend. I can do 1 more mend as well. If I mend Brigand and then Brigand attacks, then I can have healer heal herself and get defended by the Squire. No, right, of course, because that's going to spend the mana. So actually they have to, like, exchange in order to keep themselves on board. So the Squire has regen now. That's good. Troll isn't regenning anymore either. Also good. Pretty difficult to save the Brigand from that incoming damage, save healing them, I guess. Actually, the mend is already enough to get them. We're good. I do want more damage, so the Squire, you can take your damage side. Brigand, you too. And in fact, that'll get us across the line. Whew. Needn't have been that difficult. We've got leather gloves. Copy the rightmost side onto the top and the bottom. Not good for us right now, but there are really cool ways to use that. And Sapphire Skull, which is just when you die, gain 2 mana. I'm going to take the leather gloves. We're just going to hold on to them for the possibility of them being cool as heck with some combination of characters or items in the future. Up against 4 goblins, a barrel, and an imp. I would really like to take out the barrel early, and in fact I am currently being offered a good opportunity to do so. I still do need to prevent incoming damage against the Brigand, so defending them for 4 here might be my best. So the Brigand attacks the barrel, then so does Caldera. I imbue the Spellblade to then attack the barrel, giving us 2 mana back as a result of that. We defend the Brigand entirely from dying, and easy. I mean, we're not going to have access to the Brigand this round. I don't expect that I'm going to be able to remove the Imp and the Goblin, but 2 mana is certainly going to help. In fact, that 2 mana gives us the ability to take out the Imp on the top line with just 2 targets of burst. And if the Imp on the top line is dead, then the Squire isn't dying, which means the Squire can just defend the Brigand, preventing their death this round. All right. I'm going to attack that Goblin. Then I will burst the Imp and Scald. So for 3 mana, I get 4 damage out on the field, considering the fact that I am intending to save the Goblin. Or rather, slay the Goblin. And we can follow this up very, very easily. Any 2 damage to the top Goblin, and the bottom one will flee in terror. Level 6. Ugh, statue? Really? Ooh, I mean, I guess they can have a heal to regen. That doesn't seem good at all. Having some consistent damage on the board with the soldier, especially considering Caldera and Spellblade are very heavy, like, kind of techy, I guess you might call them, classes. Fine. Still not much ranged access for us, unfortunately. Against a Imp, a Bandit, and a Slimer, so we kind of want to overkill the Imp if possible here. That would do it. Then the soldier, I mean, I do want to keep the healer alive. Hopefully this will do it. The Squire, you pull the focus away from the healer. Soldier defends the Squire. The Spellblade attacks the Imp. Caldera now Cruel strikes the Imp, dealing 6 damage here, which makes the Bandit on the bottom side flee. Right, significantly reducing the incoming damage, thus the Squire didn't actually need that much defense. Okay, so instead, I will give the defense from Soldier to Caldera to keep them safe and sane. Oh, no, all of the damage actually was, or all of the shielding actually was relevant on Squire beforehand, but it's also fine to go on Caldera, and I actually may prefer this split. Slime is doing 3 damage to the top and the bottom here. I'll happily take a source of 2 mana. We should just be able to blow up the Slimer this turn, in most likelihoods. 1 burst, 2 burst, 3 burst. And yeah, we don't need to do anything else, it'll just flee. Abacus. Shift your middle row across by 1, +1 max HP. So anything that is in this slot, I can now copy to the top and bottom, which means I can move 2 mana to Caldera's top and bottom. I can guarantee 2 mana on that character. That's all it helps with right now. Other consideration here is Pocket Phylactery. Adds pain to the 2 left sides, and you also get +6 max HP. not particularly great with any of my characters right now. I'm going to take the Abacus with the possibility of doing cool things there. Quartz doesn't have spikes or anything like that. We'll want to do damage to the Cyclops, yeah. I think here I will retain my mana gain sides rather than copying them away. I really want the Squire and the Healer to level up into classes that have the ability to buff other things. So boost sides or smith sides, so Fey and Armorer come to mind especially. So that I can make the excess utmost use out of the Spellblade and Caldera here. Let's go in. Okay, Quartz on the bottom side is causing some issues here. 3 damage from the Soldier is a really good opener for us. That Imp can target 2 people? What? 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 Why? Why can you... Spiky, on hit, attacker, +1 damage. How can... How? But it's not Cleaver. What? What? I'm deeply confused by this. I wonder if it might be because I tabbed out very quickly in order to make sure that the Into the Breach soundtrack in the background was going to loop. Huh. Well, I guess... Huh. Let's... God, do I even want to push the roll here? That mana gives me the ability to take out the Quartz in a Scald. Poisoning the Cyclops here would be really cool if we could get it. I don't think I should. Okay, we got 1 excess mana. That's interesting. So, 3 damage to the Quartz, 2 damage to the Imp, and then we Scald, taking out both of them, and we're left with just the Squire, who defends themselves. So if I can deal 8 damage in a single turn here, I'll have the ability to stun the Cyclops, otherwise I'm going to have to defend. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we do have 8, and I'm also going to take the healer's ability to heal us back up a little bit here. Just try and make sure that if the enemy does get a next action through towards us, it's significantly less threatening. Ooh, baby! There we go! We finally got the Cruel Side on Caldera here. Takes out the Cyclops with no problems whatsoever. Hey, look who I'm happy to see! The Armorer! And the Armorer also brings Smith, specifically Shield 1, and target gets +1 to damage and shield signs this turn? I can also copy that across to their Shield 1 Cleave instead. However, we are up against the Bell, who's going to gong at the end of each turn, dealing 1 damage to all heroes and 5 damage to themselves. So the AoE Cleave defense from the Armor is actually pretty good here. Disciple? Am I overlooking the possibility of taking Disciple? Soldier can never fail to roll, neither can the Spellblade, unless we're dealing with Petrification later on. Neither can the Squire. Caldera, I guess, can. I want the Armorer. I called my shot, and then we got it. It would be rude, frankly, at this point, not to oblige it. Is that what I want? Do I want 4 spaces that just buff a side? Buffing a side is pretty good for, you know, gaining extra mana from mana stuff and extra damage. Specifically, because it only buffs damage and shield sides, so you want damage and shield sides that have some secondary effects, so mana gain or poison, possibility of even engage, the ability to take a target out instantly. What I really want is some way to buff this final shield space, and then dupe it across. So have like 3 spaces that are shield +2 or something like that. I'm gonna try it in this fight, I think. Really? Even though I mentioned previously the whole, like, AoE damage the enemy's gonna be doing the entire time? Nope. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. For that reason. We solved it. Up against a Fnatic, an Imp, and a Bell. The Fnatic has 5 HP left in him after this round. Oh, wow. The Imp and the Fnatic both targeted Caldera at the same time. That is tough stuff. So I can get 4 mana there. That's the ability to kill the Imp on the top line. I can do... Spell Lady, you need to consistently roll. I think I have to lose... Do I have to lose Caldera this round, really? Because even if I focus entirely on the Imp and the Fnatic, there's still going to be a total of 8 damage coming in against Caldera. Spinning Poison and throwing that against the Bell in the middle, I mean, that is just foregone as a conclusion. That's what we are going to do. It needs to happen. I mean, if I am losing Caldera this turn and I'm happy with it, then I don't care about killing the Imp first as our priority. So instead I can strike the Fnatic and then use Scald in order to deal 2 damage to the Fnatic as well as 2 damage to the Bell. So yes, I lose Caldera, but I poisoned the Bell and the Imp did no damage last round. That big heal seems like a good idea for us right now. I could ring the gong of the Bell. What with the armor here? 3 damage to it is not nothing. But I could try and keep targets alive. Because the Imp isn't dealing any damage this round. So even if I do manage to kill them, I'm still losing a bunch of characters here. Okay, I think we can slow play this, given the Bell is taking 5 damage themselves and 2 damage to the poison. I'm gonna... none of us are directly attacking the Imp, so no one needs the extra armor. Okay, cool. Heal up the soldier. Defend the armorer. Totally fine with this. And the Bell is dead at the end of this round. Possibly even at the start of this round if I decide it's a significantly better play. So I can get down to 4 HP. Okay, suddenly looking like a pretty good play. So a Imbue gives the Spellblade the ability to instantly kill a target on board here. But if I go directly for the Bell, I don't prevent the death of the healer. So I can save the armorer and then just let the Bell die. That means I can just use Burst against the armorer and use a cascading attack there to kill the top and then finish the Imp myself. The armor is now over-defended and the soldier's dying this round, which means I did have the ability just to burst the soldier and then do all of this the entire time previously, and it was going to work out. There we go. Bell goes down, and I get Caldera back. Welcome. Magic Staff. Set all mana and mana gain sides to 2. That'll do it. I mean, having mana get... Oh, the Spellblade, actually. Caldera gets 2 sides upgraded with this. The 2 mana gain sides. The Spellblade, rather, sorry, gets 4. Replacing blank sides with 4 damage this turn is good, but I also don't have that many blank sides. Again, we would have to worry about petrification in the future for that to be where we want to go. Maybe that's a good Spellblade. Do I have any reason to want to move the Smith spaces? Probably not right now. Up against 4 Imps and 4 Illusions. None of the Imps are attempting to summon. Good to see that. I'd really prefer the armorer roll, well, not damage. If I want a damage instance, I really want it to be able to take out an imp by itself. Spellblade, you could get 2 mana, but that is like your worst roll, so you can continue pushing regardless. Caldera, 1 mana as well as taking out one of the illusions right now, probably the best you can do. I can't imbue 2 attacks in the same turn, which makes this a little bit difficult. Do I want to take out imps or illusions this turn? I think I want to take out illusions slightly more where possible. Okay, so the illusion on the bottom side is currently targeting the armorer with the effects of a double weaken, probably the worst possibility here. We'll assess whether or not we should be optimizing around different targeting methods later. For the moment, I'm going to imbue the Spellblade, who's going to have the ability to take out the imp that is otherwise killing them. Soldier, you are going to get heavily defended by the armorer. The soldier is also directly being targeted by weakness from this illusion. So now none of the illusions are running weak against our party in this next round. So the impact of our effects is not lessened. I mean, we are petrified on a couple of spaces, so we are losing a little bit of optionality there. But with only the first petrifications, we should really be able to push through. Yeah, that's both illusions dead, as well as 4 mana gain. Soldier, I wonder if maybe a defensive side is a good idea for you. Armor, you can take a shield and buff side here. 3 damage from the soldier. Sure, that's probably got to be good enough. And let's try something. If I buff Caldera's attack, I can strike each of the imps. I can deal a bunch of damage to that imp as well. Use Scald. All of the imps are now off the field and dead. I can use a single burst in order to kill a remaining illusion, and then we have a single illusion going to the next round. Yeah, it's too easy. Ooh. Enchanter and Herbalist. So Herbalist is giving us the ability to use 1 damage or 1 heal. We have a lot of mana generation, so the ability for the Herbalist to have 1 damage or 1 heal basically means I can fund as many spells as I want. Not as many spells as I want, sure, but like, I can fund a lot of spells pretty easily. The Enchanter is also here with heal and shield 1 mana gain, add self-shield, add self-heal, add self-heal and self-shield, heal 1 boost. I mean, that's good. I could actually like move the heal 1 boost over and then have it overwrite the top and bottom space here with the abacus and the gloves. That's actually kind of interesting. Maybe not particularly powerful, though. We could also have the Herbalist, possibly in fights that we think it's a good idea, cover up heal 1 regen with poison, single use. I'm not super enthused by that either. The Herbalist having the ability still to gain us 2 mana in a single action is pretty damn good. I really like how much mana we can generate. Yeah, we're taking the Herbalist. I was trying to find other ways around it, but I think that is the right thing for us to do here. So, extra monsters. We could fight a Ghost and a Sniper here in order to get Early Grave, +3 empty max HP, add Cantrip to all pain sides. I have no pain sides in the entire party, and Origami. Swap each side with its opposite. Which, Origami does set up really well for... what's it called? For the gloves. Because it means the middle side is the one that you're copying to the top and bottom. So basically, there's an item called, I think, Dragonhide Gloves that copies the middle of the die to the top and the bottom. With the combination of Origami and leather gloves, you can just get that effect. I'll say, that's the ability for me to have 2 more sides that just have 4 defend on them from the armorer, rather than the cleave effect. Would that allow us to kill an extra sniper and ghost? I'm not good at dealing instances of 4 damage after the character is lower than max HP, so the ghost is difficult to kill. I'm not good at killing the backline, so this... No, I think I die if I take that, even though it does offer us the ability to get a combo that might have been cool. Are we likely to face much poison here? Zombie does have a poison strike, so does Court. Well, not Court's having a poison strike, but they have a weaken. So they have things that could be cleansed. There's poison, obviously, from the Imp as well. I don't think I need the infused herbs in this fight. I think the fight that really shines in is where regen triggers many, many times over the course of the fight. So a long fight is what we're really looking for there. And I am here for a good fight, not a long fight. Zombie, if we can take you down in 4 damage instantaneously, I mean, look, I would love to. Instances of 3 damage are pretty good for taking out Courts. Like, Soldier and Caldera already have that covered. One of them, that is. I think everyone else needs to push here. 4 defense to try and keep someone alive from the armorer seems a great idea here. Herbalist, you can take mana, right? Ooh, that's incredible. Okay, we're going to take out both of these Courtses. So, Courts number 1 go down. Courts number 2, well, actually, hang on. We have the ability to use Scald for this effect as well. So let's see if there's a much better version with Scald. Wait. We do 2 damage to the Courts on the top line. 2 damage to this Bones. Then 3 damage to the Courts on the bottom line. We use Scald and it kills the Bones as well as both Courtses. And then we defend the Caldera for the incoming 4 damage. I could not be prouder of that turn. I do want to retain Imbue as a spell, because I want to see if I can, there we go, get the Soldier and then imbue one of their attacks. That's enough to do the zombie's HP in a single hit. In fact, that's us done. Zombie's HP, zombie's trigger effect of dying in a single hit, rather. Goodbye to the Imp, hello to the Ladder and Whiskey. Ladder replaces the middle side with the hero above's base side. So Caldera could replace the Cruel side with another mana if I wanted to. Herbalist could lose the mana in order to gain shield 4. We could lose shield 4 in order to gain 3. I don't really love any of those. Whiskey? I do love Whiskey. Yeah. Yeah, get some empty max HP. A character who's happy to receive regen on turn 1, pretty good. Actually, I'm taking the random tier 4 or 6. We get a tier 4. Replace the middle side with heal 0, vitality, flesh, pain. So it doubles your max HP, but that's about it. So, well, it doubles your current HP, but not... It doesn't heal you. It doubles the empty max HP. It doesn't... It's tough. We could... Like, if we have the ability to remove pain from this, I mean, you know, that's ridiculously effective at that point. I'm going to take it. I don't know what to do with it, though. So, we can see the effect here on the Herbalist. The Herbalist says, heal 7, vitality, flesh, pain. So, it will give 7 empty max HP to the target. It will also heal them by 7, so it'll fill it up. And then, we will take 7 damage for having done so. So if the Herbalist does it to themselves, they just get empty max HP. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right now. It can be used to try and save someone else. if you also have a bunch of block to save yourself from the impacts of it. I almost want to give it to the soldier, but the soldier losing one of their only spaces that does maximum damage does feel bad. I kind of want to keep an eye onto the possibility of Siphon being useful somewhere, but it's just not really standing out to me right now. Fanatic, Imp, and Spiker. We'll be in this fight for a little bit of time, especially because the Spiker is not ranged. Or rather, I have no ranged to help conquer the Spiker. Soldier murdering the Imp would be handy. Oh boy. I guess everyone else pushes right now. Three damage from Caldero. Do I really prefer pushing for defense? It's got to be pushed. Okay, and we get multiple different sources of mana. Neat. I guess I'm going to buff Caldero's attempts. Have both of them... Actually, do both of them even do it? No, we have the other two then attack the Fanatic, and then we Scald, so one of the Imps dies and the Fanatic lives. But I lose my Soldier. Then I can imbue the Herbalist's attack here and send out multiple poison to the Spiker. Let's have a look if there's any other turn that's significantly better than that. So for a second, if we instead... I mean, because the Imp on the top line, we really do want to die, otherwise the Spellblade is going to die this round. Am I capable of preventing both the Spellblade and the Soldier from dying this round? Kind of, but I have to leave the Fanatic alive, so that is basically... Well, I mean, it's basically the same play up until a certain point. So we do all of this, and then we burst to kill the Imp, and then burst to keep the Soldier alive. Send out one poison against the Spiker only. I don't love this, but I think I can recover from this space without having to worry about my Soldier having a HP penalty for the next fight. That's regen, baby. Ooh. I would love to be able to poison the Spiker here. Caldero, 2 mana is good enough. Alright. Just gonna strike the Fanatic directly, defend the Herbalist. The Herbalist is going to use the heal and regen on Spellblade, who I will then imbue and then send out poison. Nice. Caldera, do you... Yeah, Caldera still has their cruel side. That's the end of the fight if they happen to roll it. Not that I'm even going to give them the opportunity here. Goodbye, Spiker. Bash and Witch. The Witch could easily replace Heal 1 boost and 1 damage weaken with Cleave sides, Heal 3 Cleave. The Bash could do the same with stuns. That would be Abacus as well involved. 5 damage heavy strikes in this fight are not particularly useful for us. The Witch has Salve as their spell, which is heal 2. We would have access to a huge amount of mana and the ability to do that quite consistently. She has a heal 5 cleanse space as well. I think I'm going to take the Witch here. Alright, I'm also going to try Abacus on Armorer, moving their heavy attack over, because the heavy attack is just going to be targeting the Rotten in this fight, not particularly good for us. And then I'm going to replace their heavy attack with Siphon, just in case. Just in case we can make that relevant in this fight. I'm also going to get the heal with regen mana cost on the Soldier, who is often happy to roll past a 2. And hold on to everything else for the moment. Ugh, Rotten immediately goes with AoE poison. That's exactly what we don't want to see. 3 damage to a target from Caldera. I kind of want to set up for Scalds, if possible. So Spellblade with the damage and mana gain space there, doing quite well. I almost want to let the Armorer run the Smith space out. If the Armorer smithed Caldera's attack and then Caldera attacked someone who was directly attacking the Armorer, then I can remove them from the field. And then I only need 1 mana out of the Witch. Or the buff space from the Witch. Either of those will get us here. No. Damn. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of different options that we have. So I can buff the Spellblade in order to make sure that I do have access to Scald. The big reason this would interest me is that it would set up the ability in 2 different areas to get chain effects. Oh no, not even effectively there. Okay, I already don't like that as our setup. I want to be able to deal 4 damage to a single target and start getting the Scald effect out on the field. So if I buff Caldera here, Caldera then kills the target that is otherwise targeting the Armorer. If I run Scald now? No. Actually, what if I just slow play it? Take out the imp, heal up afterwards. Leave only 2 bones on the field. Prevent the imp from summoning another bones. So it's 4 damage, 4 damage, 4 damage. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. Saving 2 mana out of the turn as well. I'd really like to heal Caldera here if possible. If we imbue that side, that's an instant kill against the character. That would chain towards the next person with the Soldier. So those 2 actions already have a lot of stuff sorted for us. Interesting. I'm just going to lock all of these so that I can see how I can function around this. So Armorer, you do it to yourself, you've just increased your max HP. That's it. You do it to someone else, you die, you donate your max HP to them. You siphon yourself into them effectively. If I burst to prevent you dying to it, you can give someone else a huge amount of health, and then you can be healed back up with things like Salve. Okay. So in that way, I could use it to save Caldera, and then use, well, I mean, imbue on the Spellblade, and then chain those attacks. And then we still lose the Armorer at the end of all of that. Obviously, Caldera's not doing anything in that instance, so we will continue pulling or pushing a roll with them. More mana is more health right now, in most ways for us. I don't know if I need the Armorer's Siphon Space, though. It's a very expensive way to get an effect that I am already very capable of. Okay. Going to Smith Caldera's side here. There go both of those chumps. Single Solve has already saved us on board. Buddy. Do I want to run more of them out? Yeah, I guess I do. Trying to make sure that I don't waste any mana and still retain as much as I possibly can here in case there's another summon turn going off. Thank you for no more poison, by the way, Rotten. Much appreciated. Ooh, Soldier actually healing up a character as well as defending them there. Beautiful. I don't want to look a Gift Horse in the face. This is good enough for me. Armorer, actually, is that good enough? You're just one defend like that? No, you have so many other better sides. Yeah, that'll count. So we defend the Witch, who then weakens the Rotten for 2, preventing the incoming damage from killing the Spellblade on the top line. We get mana and regen on our Armorer. I get to use a single salve or 2 to try and keep that armor around and alive. Yes, our max HP is decreasing, but we have time right now. So Armorer now with regen on themselves, if I defend them, they can give huge amounts of max HP to another character. And then I could even heal them back up heavily with a Witch. Let's do it. We defend the Armorer so that they don't die when they give all of this health to the Spellblade. We heal back up the Armorer. It's not very useful in this fight, I will grant you that. However, in the future, where going up against bosses, I think it'll be really capable of proving its worth there. And there goes the Rotten. We get an item for our efforts, Shimmering Halo, plus 2 max HP this fight whenever you save a hero. That also fills the max HP. It's not empty max HP. And then there's also the Hourglass on turn 1, plus 1 to all sides. Plus 2 max HP whenever you save a hero this fight. I wonder if that would give the ability to survive our own Heal Vitality Flesh Pain? Hang on. Let's see if we can consult the order as it's written in here. So modifiers, keywords, order. Wait. In help, advanced. Okay, effect layering is usually hero definition, then blessings, curses, item 1, item 2, monsters, passives, in combat buffs, static keyword bonuses, and then targeted keyword bonuses. So we would die first. Is it still pretty good just as an item that helps us save heroes and get max HP? Max HP is pretty good in a fight where I have the ability to heal characters as easily as I do. I think so. I think so. Do I want to worry about Abacus in this fight? So that would be Abacus here, and then copying the heal cleave across. No, because I'm so good at healing just from mana, I don't think it's necessary. Getting plus 1 max HP though, no reason not to do that. We'll take them on the Witch. Okay, Witch, that's interesting. You have your heal buff space. Spellblade can take mana there. Is this even good for you, Witch? I guess all of the other heal sides are useless. Weaken's obviously the best, 3 mana, or Weaken and 3 mana share the best, but I think I'll be realistic and just lock that blessing there. That boon, that buff, that boost. It's the ability to give extra armor to that entire bottom line. Yeah, we'll have it buff the armorer here. Caldera, you'll take 2. That's good enough for you. Soldier, you can push. So Armorer, huge defense there. You get yourself 2 max HP for having done so as well from the Shimmering Halo. I'm gonna attack the Thorns. And I know I need to use some mana here. Let's actually just remove the Imp. Then I can use my excess defense from the Soldier on Caldera instead. We just have 2 slates we have to worry about. I should be okay. So damage instance as well as mana gain, huge. Everyone else can push. AoE healing, pretty effective here as well. We'll take the buff on Caldera. I think everyone else should push again. So, like, I can get the armor to get max HP, but they would have to shield themselves. So that's the effect they're getting out of it. I don't really like that. Soldier can defend them, and then I can get 3 mana instead out of the Spellblade. The vines would have been really good in this fight as well. Just instant pings on the enemy. Take him out. So here I should ideally look to just keep my characters healthy. Gonna be slow going on the slate a little bit here. Oh man. Really piling up on the old armorer there, aren't you? We continue pushing there. Mana, nice, we take it. Ooh, armorer, nice. You actually may survive through this. So if we kill the slate on the top line using 3 bursts now. Actually, I'm also going to burst the bottom and then use Scald. Just get a little bit extra effect out of that. Then the armorer saves themselves, getting themselves some max HP for having done so. Soldier, you should probably defend the most vulnerable target on the board, the Caldera. And then 3 instances of damage is enough this turn. Beauty. And we still have Imbue in our back pocket if we happen to need it at any time. We won't. Full stop. Alright. 2 more bursts, and there goes the skull. 14 out of 20. Hey, there's some range damage! They said it couldn't be. Also available here is Stalwart. So Stalwart having a bunch of shield sides as well as shield cleanse. A lot of ability to save people. We're missing out on the smithing, but I think that kind of needed to stop relatively soon anyway. Assassin. 2 damage ranged engage. That's the ability to instantly take out imps. We have the ability to start following the core into the back line as well with these range shots. Poison single use. A cruel side as well that's repeatable. Very good for bosses. The Spellblade's already very potent. I wonder if the upgrade between the Spellblade to the Assassin is smaller than the effectual upgrade between the Armorer and the Stalwart. Do I have any unique things that the Stalwart would be able to do here? I mean, the Stalwart would have more access to heavy exert sides if I really think I need it. Yeah, I think I just take the Stalwart here. Stalwart holding the Shimmering Halo and just being able to save enough people consistently. That's a character that doesn't need much investment, but performs very effectively. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. Soldier, you don't need infused herbs anymore. In fact, small attacks are relatively good in this fight. Up against all these illusions. Oh, I would love an AoE ability right now. Alright. Stalwart does have the ability to just attack a target instantly for 5 here. That said, giving up the ability to defend some targets that are really going to need some cleansing and stuff like that doesn't seem particularly appealing to me. Caldera, I would really prefer you attack and gain mana so I can take out an illusion as well as gain some resources there. That'll do it. Witch's best side right now might just be getting extra mana. Everyone else is happy to push again. Cool. Okay, Stalwart, you can save the Soldier, as well as prevent a lot of incoming negative effects against them. Caldera, I wonder if you are dead. Basically, no matter what happens here. Is that possible? Let's reduce the impact coming in against the Spellblade. So I can double burst to kill the imp on the top line, and then I can burst to save Caldera. Or rather, never mind, I can just defend to save Caldera here. This illusion is also doing a weaken. This one is petrifying. Petrifying a single side on the Spellblade is not too bad for me. I think I need to save some extra mana this turn. Have the ability to heal up targets next turn. Huge damage, birds. Ugh. Nightmares. Okay, Stalwart being able to save. I mean, Stalwart, if you could save 2 people at the same time with the cleave effect, it would be incredible here. Soldier, that's your best damage. You should take it. We got our cleave effects. Caldera, you don't push past that. Oh. Can even get a little bit more out of it. Let's have a look at what we can do without it. So the Stalwart gets the double rescue right there. Gets a bunch of extra max HP. Then I can strike the snake. Buff the Spellblade a little bit here. Attacking the core in the back line. And then like 2 Scalds will kill it. Single Scald kills the first. Another Scald kills the target eventually while they're in the back line, but I can do that to the core on the bottom line instead and save the Spellblade. Yeah. I want to be more aggressive about my effects there. And now that we just have a single core on the field, we should be much, much more capable of managing it. Single damage instance, love to see it. Wait, you are weakened this turn? No, next turn, but you have one side petrified. Stalwart, you could try and save Caldera from an incoming attack. And then Caldera, you can kill the other target so I don't have to focus on the illusion at all. The Witch is currently going down. I should probably continue pushing. Okay. The Witch is actually going to buff Caldera here instead. We're going to instantly take out these 2 illusions, and I'm going to save the Witch as well as get some max HP on Stalwart. Now it's literally just you and me, core. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I mean, I'll take the damage. It's good enough. Goodbye to the core. 15. Heal as well. Heal for 2,000 total. Unlocks a new item. Ica Chalice. 1 damage to the topmost enemy for each wasted point of healing you receive. That's incredible. That seems like that can do some serious work. Demon Claw, add Rampage and -1 to the left side. Then there's also Boots of Speed, +1 reroll, and replace the left side with dodge all enemy attacks and effects. So I can get a +1 reroll and also have a character only replace a blank space. Usually the Boots of Speed are replacing the most important space, which is the difficulty in them. Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. And giving it to the Witch to be able to dodge self-effects here? I think that should no, it can't be the Soldier. The Soldier don't have blank space to overwrite with it. I wonder if maybe it should be Caldera. Certainly out of the two. Right. Up against a Ogre, Imp, Sniper, and Spiker here. Stalwart, I do like the idea of you using that group shield very effectively this turn, but I wonder if you even can. Like it's 2 shield cleave, but most of the damage is just coming towards the Stalwart here. I think we should push on everyone at this point, actually. 5 damage from the Stalwart. Should I be considering trying to take someone out? 5 and 3 makes 8. So I would need an additional 5 to be able to take out the Spiker. I would need mana or just an additional 2 to be able to take out the Ogre. It absolutely doesn't save the Stalwart, by the way. It doesn't even have any impact there. The Witch buffing a poison, which then goes in against the Spiker very early on in this fight, I think is totally fine. Soldier, if you roll defense, you might be able to help the Stalwart save themselves. Stalwart can save themselves with just that, that's good enough. Which now means Soldier, you can take your damage side. I wonder if now that means I want to take out the Ogre first. So, let's have a look at the possibilities. If I buff the Spellblade, and then we just target the Ogre 2 times, Caldera removes the Ogre entirely. Stalwart then defends themselves, gets extra max HP. We only have to worry about 1 summon this round, and Spiker. I mean, I miss out on the ability to deal poison to the Spiker. That's the real big thing we lose here. But I get the Ogre off the field really quickly. I'm gonna go with it. I think concentrated damage like that is pretty fine for us. Stalwart can try and save each of them and just fail. Although I can set up with bursts if I really wanted to. Which I likely will. 3 health cleave? Probably not relevant for the Witch right now. Oh, huge mana though. Okay. So what am I looking for here? It is 2 damage to the bones. Then 3 damage to the Imp. We use Scald, pushing some damage down to the Sniper. I guess unless I use just Burst and a Strike. So we save 1 mana there. Then we can roll out some defense, not getting max HP on the Stalwart whilst doing so, sadly. Having damage on the sniper in the backline is actually pretty good because it gives me access to the ability to Scald to take them out before I have to take out the Spiker entirely. Like here I can just double Scald. Okay, significantly prefer this. We'll also just run out of salve at the end of the turn for Stalwart. 2 damage to the entire party. Thank you muchly. That is exactly the kind of thing that I am fine dealing with. I think everyone else should probably just push. I guess the soldier needs to deal the damage. Stalwart's AoE, good to see you. That'll help keep some folk alive. Let's run that on the top side, because the bottom already has a bunch of HP. I think I should imbue the poison here. Was briefly considering imbuing the weaken so that we would have no damage incoming this round, but I'd rather be way closer to killing the Spiker. And that'll do it. Curator and Wizard. Oh, Wizard! Oh, God, Wizard's incredible here! Set all mana/mana gauge sides to 2. All of them are already buffed, including the cantrip, the 2 mana cantrip that they have access to. And then, additionally, they have the ability to give a perma boost to anyone else. So they can buff the Spellblade back to where they were previously if they really wanted to. But they could also just buff themselves and become the best mana generation class in the entire game. I say that, and then I do remember that there is Sorcerer, who has all of the cantrip sides that I really love so much. Other than that, I think we're good in this fight. Oh, although the Abacus should go on someone again. Oh, and Boots. Yeah, we can put that on the Witch now. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. Spellblade, do you ever want to carry Heal Vitality Flash Pain here? Is there any good reason for you to do that? Not especially. Ooh, it's the Tarantus fight. I mean, you know, you could try and lose a bunch of your own HP before Tarantus kills you, but that's not really going to help anyone. Tarantus does probably require that we take the infused herbs into this fight as well. Get a little bit more access to cleanse. I know we have the shielding cleanse, I know we have the healing cleanse, but regen is also really good in this fight. No reason to turn our nose up at it. I should also, because Tarantus is definitely going to kill Spellblade, I should also remember that, and the wizard should probably target someone else with their shield perma boost. Inspire. Target hero can use their dice again and has cooldown. Can only be cast once a turn. That should basically be cast once a turn if I have the ability. The best healing I can really provide right now is killing the spider that's attacking the Stalwart. It's really hard to turn down the opportunity here to just get poisoned on Spellblade on Tarantus on turn 1, so we'll take that. Wizard, you can do anything with a lot of your spaces, so you can continue to push. Unfortunately, 1 damage short for the soldier, but the soldier is never really going to roll significantly better than that. Wizard, 2 damage, 2 mana gain. Is that good enough? That's the ability to take a target out on the field. Deal 2 damage to them, get 2 mana, use the 2 mana to burst them, kill them. That takes them. I'm gonna push. Ooh, we got the mana side. That's good to see, baby. I'm also going to take the defensive side on the Stalwart here. And push one more roll. Okay, which can fully defend by dodging. So we'll see whether or not we have the ability to keep your HP in a different, interesting way. But first off, I should probably focus on taking down the spider who will otherwise murder you. Well, actually, I can burst it for 2, but I could also inspire the wizard and then let the wizard attack again, keeping 2. Guess it's the same either way. And only if I burst the Stalwart here do they have the ability to keep themselves on full HP. Yeah, that was always going to be the case. So we're only going to get 1 poison out on Tarantus, unfortunately. Well, unless I want to remove a spider from the field instead. That could be a good idea. Removes it from the field this turn. So I think that'll matter. And then hopefully I can get a poison side on Tarantus that doesn't make me sad. If I can imbue it, that'd be great. If I could reuse it after imbuing it, oh my god, that would be incredible. Mana gain and regen on the Stalwart right now from the Soldier does seem the best thing that you are capable of doing. These two sides constitute the ability to... constitute, rather, the ability to kill a character. Big heal. Great shielding. Okay, we'll shield the Spellblade 2 times. Spellblade, now you attack the Imp on the top line. The Wizard, you follow up, taking it out. Soldier, you now have 2 mana in order to get the 2 mana regen on the Stalwart. We will also roll out a big heal and cleanse there. Yeah, 2 regen per turn on the Stalwart here. I cannot overstate the importance of this. This fight is going on for a while. You may notice Tarantus has not yet taken damage. Stalwart gets to save another character here as well as defend against an incoming of 5 damage effective. Assuming we don't change anything else about the board, which we should. I would summon 2 spiders is Tarantus' side right now. So if I buff that side, we can actually prevent Tarantus from summoning any spiders this round, which would be great. Ooh, we got our cantrip side. Love to see it. Oh, we got the boost! Finally! Okay, so if we boost the Witch is then going to have the ability to give heal 2 boost to a character, a couple other cool things as well. Alternative is we boost the Spellblade, but again, we remember that is not necessarily what we want to do. I'm going to boost the Witch, and then Witch just prevents Tarantus from summoning anyone this round. No summons for you. That then gives me the ability to buff the Imbue, so I can instantly remove a target from the field. No poison for me. And I think that extra 3 damage should probably just go on to the Tarantus here. We're good at generating instances of 2 damage. We're good at generating instances of 4 damage with tricks. 1 damage to just finish off a character who's barely at the end. Like, that's not a very easy thing for us to do. 3's got a good enough for the Soldier right now. Witch! 4 mana, Inspire! Witch! 4 mana. I'm not going to do it, but just noting that I can. So if you defend for 3 and cleanse, you will save the Soldier that round. Good to see. The Wizard on the bottom line is also currently being targeted with poison. I would rather that not happen. mean, I can remove every spider from the field right now. Then it adds 3 damage, poison, weaken. All of that got prevented. Huge. Huge. Oh my god, they're doing it again. Okay, Stalwart, please roll the oh my god, you did immediately. Didn't even need to ask. Mana gain as well as damage, that's good enough for us on the Spellblade. Same for it on the Wizard. The Witch, I mean, the Witch can just do 2 damage this round. That's completely fine, but it's also basically the least useful thing for her right now. Yeah. I'm going to get a huge heal on the Soldier, because we will just keep the Wizard around anyway, so we don't have to worry about any of the incoming negatives. Roll out a burst so I don't lose any mana in the next turn. And we have full, absolute control of this fight. I love that Tarantus is also now targeting the top line, who is going to die this round, presumably, because I'm going to be dealing too much damage. When I said too much damage, I was really hoping I would get damage to deal. Almost. Okay. Well, I guess actually Spellblade should roll out their attack first. And then I'm going to inspire the Soldier to finish off the fight with their own sword. Sapphire Ring, +1 to all mana/mana gain sides, and Brimstone, triple the pips of the rightmost side. Triple the pips of the rightmost side. Because I can also turn the rightmost side into both top and bottom. I can't abacus something to move it into position and then triple it, unfortunately. So, like, I can get 15 damage exert on Stalwart on 3 different spaces here if I wanted to. But is that actually better than just +1 to all mana gain sides when we have a Wizard who's getting extra damage, extra shield, and extra cantrip mana from that? I think not. I think not. Up against so many Wisps, so many Fanatics in a single imp, of course. Stalwart, please. Please. Oh, you got it. So if I can get the Soldier to defend themselves, the Stalwart can save both of them. The Witch can prevent incoming against the Spellblade and heal them up. The Wizard is currently doing it rough. We're overdying by 1 HP, so if I kill the Imp on the top line, I prevent that, but the Wizard is not going to be able to take any damage in having done that. That'll do it. I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look at our options. Which heals up the Spellblade, prevents the incoming negativity. The Soldier then gets saved by the Stalwart, and so does the Stalwart, getting his 4 max HP, all filled out on the Stalwart there. The Wizard on the bottom line is the one currently taking lethal. But if I use that Wizard to target any of the Fanatics on the field, I can gain back enough mana. Hang on. I can gain back enough mana to imbue this attack, then I reduce the Fanatic to having died next turn, and I can still burst to remove the Imp on the top line. So we keep the Wizard alive by 1 HP, and anyone that was targeting the Wizard in the previous round is now extremely deceased about it. Two Fanatics remain. They are probably going to have to be our primary targets here, unfortunately. which with the 3 AoE heal, and it's inflict pain, so it'll heal the exact same damage as it does to her. Starwood is offering us the ability to just instantly take out one of the fanatics by themselves this round, and I don't think I can avoid that. Everyone else gets to push. 3 damage and a single mana gain. Let's have a look at how this turn can roll out. Hang on. The Stalwart, in killing someone here, rescues, which also gives them max HP. So I've taken 5 damage, but I also get some max HP for saving the soldier. Neat. And, I mean, if I'm going to have inflicted pain on the Stalwart next turn, sure, they're not going to be acting anyway. Which heals themselves as well, saves the wizard. I really don't want there to be just a really huge amount of bones out on the field, but I also think that's probably the least potent thing that I have to worry about them doing. Actually, I think I care about impact this turn as well, so I'm going to inspire the wizard so that they can attack again. Then 3 to you, so burst, 1 wisp down, burst, another wisp down. Actually, I'm going to solve to heal Spellblade. I'm going to burst to keep the Spellblade alive, then burst to take one of the wisps down. And we'll just play it slightly slowly in the future. Be careful, says the wisp before the fanatic dies immediately in response to it. Yeah, I can't remove Exert with Cleanse, I imagine. I'm almost certain, in fact. I think I have tried that. I mean, any damage on the witch is probably good enough right now, but... Oh, sure, I guess I'm going for the dodge. Okay. I'm just going to try some stuff, because I think we are far enough ahead that it's not too much of an issue to just throw things at the wall and see if they stick. Burst kills the bones, which takes out a wisp for us. Another strike. Actually, hang on. Before I do that burst, I want to inspire the wizard to attack again. Attacking the bones on the bottom line. Then we burst this bones. Then we can burst the next bones, taking out the wizard and wisp. Done. Ooh, they changed Venom. Baby. So Venom no longer has any blank sides. Instead, they have 3 damage single-use poison, as well as a 1 damage poison, 2 damage poison, 1 damage poison, 1 damage poison. So they are just a poison toolkit for taking down the final boss. Love it. Versus the Barbarian here, who does have huge pain sides. I'm pretty good at healing back up Barbarian with the amount of damage that I can heal with just heals individually. And also, we're not going to be uber punished for trying to use a bunch of one-cost spells by the Banshee here, because the Banshee in 2.0.2 has Wail. After the first spell each turn is cast, deal 1 damage to all enemies, rather than after each. Final contribution factor here, the Barbarian is more damage, and I will need more instantaneous damage on this board right now, I believe. I almost wonder if Spellblade should get the heal flesh vitality effect and then also a heal regen. We kind of run you as a support class of the Barbarian in this fight. Probably not a great idea. We just want to eke out a little bit extra value still. Okay. Anyone else? Doesn't look like it. Let's go into the fight. One of the demons is doing AoE. The Banshee, however, is rolling 4 weaken against the target, which is just a little much for me. Barbarian offers to die to kill the Banshee. Hold that thought, bud. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying hold the thought. Heal 1 boost on the witch. I mean, that doesn't seem like it's going to be especially effective this round. Oh boy. I mean, it's a lot better than the heal sides that won't be able to do anything. Although dodge and reduction would be the best outcomes. Take the damage from the Spellblade there, I think. And yeah, Witch. You can keep that. Fine. So goal here is Barbarian. You are attacking the Banshee, which puts you down onto lethal yourself. The Stalwart can save you. If I buff the Spellblade then can attack the Banshee and we can take it out with a single cast. Preventing all of the incoming weaken from the next round, that we can prevent even more damage on the Barbarian and hold some resources here. Holding some mana resources for the next turn so that I have the ability to heal up in response to things. Really, really good here. Now, Stalwart also has Pain on all of their sides this turn. Should keep that in mind. I mean, 3 damage, shield, as well as 3 mana at the same time is so ridiculously impactful. Weaken is okay here, just removes 1 from the field, 2 from... 1 damage from everyone, so 5, but 10 if I imbue it. I guess I can imbue it. Barbarian, I would love you to be able to do 4 damage with this attack. So if I affect both demons, then the Bloodlust will be 4, and the Barbarian can take out the Imp with the Bloodlust by themselves. I would love them to be able to do that. Continue pushing everyone else. Stalwart, I would really prefer if you got your Cleanse side. Stalwart, I would really prefer if you got your Cleanse side. Stalwart, well done on having gotten your Cleanse side. Yes, there we go. Because you rescued someone, you get yourself a little bit extra max HP again, and you managed to prevent the worst income against the wizard here, which would be inflicting pain on them. The wizard, in fact, is the worst person on board to have inflict pain because they would just kill themselves with the 3 mana cantrip. So we do 1 instance against each of you, setting up the Barbarian to take out the Imp on the top line. And then I can... Boy. I'm going to run back a little while so that I can get the Witch to prevent more damage here. I guess I just preemptively run a bunch of salves here. I don't know why I'm sad to do that. That's perfect for me. It's exactly the utilization I need here in order to turn the extra HP, or rather the extra mana that I can generate turns into extra HP, and that extra HP turns into damage. Barbarian should take the damage, everyone else should push. Oh my god. Wizard just absolutely going off right now. Go off, King. Another 3 there. The Barbarian is... Yeah, the Barbarian's taking lethal against whoever they strike right now. Because whoever they strike is also going to trigger their on-fire hit or Hellfire on-hit effect of 6 damage back to the target. So 6 damage as well as the 8 damage we're dealing to ourselves. Total of 14 going in against the Barbarian this round. HP is a good way to heal them up. Stalwart, do you want to just do a single large defense at them? That seems like it might be a good idea. Okay. So full heal the Barbarian and then defend them, and then they have just enough to survive attacking. Then I can finish off the Demon on the top line. Then I'm going to follow up with an Inspire on the Wizard, attacking again. We have 11 mana, and I'm just going to use Bursts and a single Spellblade to finish him off. 19 out of 20. We're getting there. Boarhide Braces. Improve the top and bottom sides by +2. The Stalwart's really happy about that, but so is the Witch. Although the Witch would have to lose her ability to dodge and give everyone the regen, so I guess the Stalwart's really happy about that. 4 damage AoE block. There's also Goblet of Life here. Heal and shield 2, cleave, self-heal, self-shield. Am I really good at utilizing that for any reason? Not especially. We're taking the Boarhide Braces. And those go immediately onto the Stalwart. No problem whatsoever. 2 Basilisks, a Wiz, a Sniper, and an Imp. Wiz is doing a huge weakened attack against the Wizard, who is not going to be able to respond to that very effectively right now. I guess I could get Stalwart to help defend him, but I really want Stalwart's AoE space if I can get it here. Barbarian, you by yourself could just take out the Imp on the top line. I think that's a good idea for you. Poison, and there's the huge defensive space for us. Great. So I'm going to have the Wizard attack the Basilisk first. Then I'm going to imbue the poison side and have that attack the other Basilisk. Remove the Imp from the field, defend a bunch of people. Yeah, the Barbarian is fully defended by that in ways that are useful. Then I'm also just going to roll out 2 solves against the Barbarian at the end. Save extra resources. Unless I just want to send out a burst to the Bas... No. This extra HP is good. I don't like that I'm going to have to work through both of the Basilisks in order to get the Wisp in the back line, but... you do what you have to. Wizard, unfortunately, is completely useless this turn. Barbarian should probably only use a Bloodlust space right now. Weaken on the Witch is not effective, especially. Spellblade still gets a pretty good effect out of this. Barbarian, do you want to attack for 4 right now? Probably not. Continue rolling. Good lord, 4, 4, 4. Hey, 4 but with no self-damage. That's what we're looking for. Stalwart, you try and prevent the Wizard, or rather, prevent the weakness on that Wizard. That's actually not good. It doesn't remove all of the weakness. So if I get the Witch to heal the Stalwart, and then the Stalwart is cleansing for 4, then I can get my full Wizard back and use that to heal up the Barbarian. I even kind of want to Inspire and do it again. We'll see if we do. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Leaves us with a single solve, which I'll just roll out against the Stalwart. Basilisk number the first one down, and we're not in too bad of a position at this point. The Barbarian is weakened by 4, but again, we have other characters that can help out with that. That'll be a lot of it removed. Don't want the Barbarian to roll the death side. There are petrified sides I should worry about. Yeah, I should have worried about that more. Okay, Barbarian, you can do 3 damage with that attack if you'd like. Let's inspire the wizard again. You throw out more heal, and then burst, burst, burst goes the basilisk, and burst to prevent the whiz from summoning anything this round. And now the fight is actually just over. Whew. Okay, final combat coming up. I'm ready. Ludus versus Fencer. So Fencer has the ability to deal extra damage when they are on max HP. They also have self-shield sides and a little bit of AoE as well. The ability to hit the back line, the core, and the archer possibly. Versus Ludus, which is just straight up numbers. I think it should be Fencer. The Fencer's ability to self-shield as well as dodge, so completely defend themselves in that round, I think is what pips it over the line there. I don't like that I had to lose access to Imbue in order to take them, though. Regen's pretty good. Is it necessary in this fight, though? It's regen and cleanse. And we are up against the dragon, who does have the ability to put poison out on us. It'd be pretty good to cast on the barbarian occasionally. I'm gonna take it. Because I have access to a lot of mana. If I could just cast it occasionally, it'd be really nice. And that should be our fight, I believe. Let's go in. Obviously, as I mentioned, we have a dragon. We also have a archer, a core, and an imp to deal with here. Wizard gets their +1 space, and Fencer gets the ability to kill the archer in the backline. That'll give Barbarian way more damage from this bloodlusting attack. Starwood, I would really prefer you... Ooh! We get cleanse defense here, so the Starwood manages to cleanse and defend themselves, keeping themselves alive. Wizard, you buff the Fencer, so the Fencer's AoE is good. Is that really a good idea? Buffing the Fencer's AoE is good. We're preventing minimal damage coming out from the Archer right here. Honestly, the Wizard kind of wants to prevent the... Yeah, like... Wizard, affect yourself there, actually, if you could. The Imp on the top line is about to summon a Bones, which would kill the Archer next to itself. So I'm going to hold on to that. Ah, I have to kill the Imp first because it's summoned the Bones above itself. Oops. Would have killed the Imp first had I known. Fencer. Still, that's a big effect. The core instantly dies to that strike. Everyone else should push. I wonder if the Barbarian should even push right now. Yeah, because there's other 6 damage sides that are not going to deal damage back to the Barbarian in order to use them. That would probably be better. Yeah, like the Bloodlust side. I could also get 6 damage out of the Fencer if I really wanted to right now. No. Here's how we do it. Okay, Fencer, you attack the Imp. Oh, no. Barbarian, you remove the core first. Then Fencer, you attack the Imp. And then the Wizard takes out the Bones, which also takes out the Archer in response. I also have no reason not to do this. We inspire the 4 damage mana gain because it's on cooldown. It's not deplete, so I can use it every turn. I really prefer seeing that on cooldown rather than deplete. I know that deplete is so that it would have the ability to prevent an infinite. Cooldown also prevents the infinite in this instance. Yeah. Let's just roll out excess heals to the targets that will accept them, including the Fencer on the top line, who now has access to 6 damage instead. Come on, heal and defend at the same time. Okay, the Witch has a 3 heal that actually gets 9 health across the party at the moment, which is great. The Fencer can also buff up the Wizard. Love to see that. Some good regen right there. Yeah, Stalwart, that's probably one of your best sides right now, even though you're only going to be defending yourself. And I guess the Barbarian, who can now do damage if... Yeah, okay, this is good. So, Fencer, you save the Wizard. The Witch saves the Stalwart a little bit. Barbarian throws in some damage. The Wizard defends the Stalwart and then does Inspire and does it again because there's no reason not to. And we'll salve up the Barbarian. I'm so happy with this run. Wizard even gets to regen a little bit at the end of the round. Still does have poison on them, which is meeting out one of the regen triggers. Stalwart just completely saves themselves with that block, so I'll let them do it. Pretty much everyone else wants maximum damage if they can. And if that's going to come via maximum mana, it's going to come via maximum mana. That's good enough for me. So Inspire for another 3 damage. Not really what we want. Instead, I'm just going to burst the dragon a ridiculous amount of times, saving the Stalwart and 5 HP on the dragon for the next round. This, I think, is going to be our next hard victory. Things don't have to go ridiculously off the chain in order to win like that. Insanely comforted by that thought. This should be current streak 2 if it wasn't for the fact that I accidentally launched a run in the 2.0.0 and had to make sure that I had the 2.0.2 beta opened instead. Here's some stats. We've only had 2 deaths in the party entirely. One of them against our blue class, one of them against our orange class. For the moment, let me say that my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been a mammoth episode of Slice and Dice. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. So it's playlist in the top left of the screen at the moment with all my content on this game, past, present, future, streaming past the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays at or above the thank tier. And a special thanks this episode to Yannick. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves and hopefully we'll see you all next time.